Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, today the Hungry Gamer is back with another con recap video, and today we are talking about RAGECon 2025. And for those of you who don't know, RAGECon stands for Reno Area Gaming Expo, but clearly it's about anger. And every year, there's been 3 times now, but for the past 2 years, myself, Original Don, and Peter Vaughn from Cardboard Alchemy have included in our RAGECon experience TrainCon, which is we take the train from Martinez, California to Reno, there and back, and that's about 6-7 hours on the train, and we game the whole way out, and we game the whole way back. So it's all kind of coming together into this experience that we do. But this video, I'm going to talk a bit about RAGECon proper, because that's what I covered. I got to be a special guest there this year. I hosted a bunch of games, and full disclosure, they did cover a large portion of my room at the hotel as a special guest, so take that for whatever it is you want to take it for. In any event, I'm going to talk about RAGECon, how it went, what I thought was really good, what I think could have been done better, and who I think should be coming to check this thing out. Then I'm going to jump into my list of the top 29 games of RAGECon, though it will include TrainCon games as well. I'll try to remember to point out, was it a TrainCon or a RAGECon game, and I'll talk about those as well. But starting out with RAGECon. So RAGECon was at a different venue this year, and all in all, upgrade. The space was really, really nice, and even though I really liked the space last year, this year the ceilings were lower, which means nothing to me until someone pointed out, haven't you noticed that everything feels quieter? And they swore it had to do with the lower ceilings and absorbing sound and whatever, and sure, I believe them, I don't know, but it was quieter. My understanding is I believe there was about 200 more people there this year, and this is a smaller con. I believe it was 1,500 people there, but 200 more than last year, and it felt quieter in the gaming area, which was just wonderful. The gaming area was great. It was well divided. You had the Protospiel at the front of the room, then you had some open gaming areas, and then at the far end you had scheduled games, and it just was great. Also, of note, what they do really well is every table, they have a paper right on it, and it says, this is the game that's going to be here from this time to this time. Never been a problem when it comes to finding a scheduled game. Just great the way that's done. Also, something that they do that is just fantastic is their online system that they use. It's called Cardboard Events, and it is so easy to schedule a game that you want to run. I think I ran 6 games while I was there, and it was really easy for me to schedule it. It was really easy for me to go back and check it and find out where my tables were. It was really easy for me to see who was at the table, who was supposed to be there, and I could even message everybody on the go or see what my schedule was between the games I just signed up to play in and signed up to run. Fantastic. Every con should be using this thing. It was great. Now, moving back out of the digital and into the actual experience, there was a big change this year with the vendor hall. And if you watched my video last year, you'll know I said that the vendor hall was a bit of a miss because you had this horrible, horrible moment of you'd be walking down, and we've all been there, that you're just kind of checking stuff out and you don't really want to engage. You don't want to go up to a booth for a few minutes, every booth. You just want to kind of check it out. But on the other hand, I've been at those booths, and your job at that booth is, if someone makes eye contact with you, you got to draw them in. That's what you got to do. And so they had this horrible, horrible thing last year where you'd walk down, and then there was a dead end. So if you got to the end of the row, and you managed to avoid being pulled into a chat if you're just trying to browse, then you had to turn around and do it again. Well, there was still a dead end or two in this place, but it just felt way better. The vendor area felt bigger, it was easy to move around. I really, really thought it was a huge upgrade. Now, there was also a supplementary vendor area that was somewhere else in the building, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. As always, everyone was really nice. Everyone was very, very helpful. Even the time that I asked to do a thing that technically I wasn't allowed to do and they had to say no, they were really nice about it. So, wonderful people there. I don't think I ran into anybody the whole weekend that was difficult or obnoxious or anything like that, at least not with RAGECon. A really, really good time while I was there. So what are my quibbles with RageCon? Well, and this first one's hard because I just went into this big story about how much I liked the new venue. But RageCon keeps moving from venue to venue, and the problem with that is, it's not a really big problem for me because I've stayed in the venue, so it's fine. But it makes it really hard to create a brand, a vibe, by the keep moving place to place. So I really hope that's going to be at the same venue again next year. The second thing that I'll say is, I mentioned that kind of supplementary vendor hall. I never got there. I didn't know where it was. And someone told me at the very end after people were packing up, and I was like, oh, well, that was really easy to get to. But I didn't know. I didn't figure it out. And they sent out messages in the app that I said was really good saying, oh, don't forget there's another vendor hall. I never made my way over there. And I spoke with one of the people running RageCon, and they told me why there was a little supplementary hall over there, and it made sense. But that was a little bit of a miss, not because it was a supplementary hall, but because the signage to get there wasn't great. I just never saw it, didn't figure it out. That's really my only quibble with the con, and I did not bring up the best. I wanted to do my little happy sandwich here, talk about things I liked, my quibbles. I want to end with the greatest thing, two things about RageCon. One is they have a really good game library. For a con that is the size that it is, it's a huge, huge game library. It's as big, maybe bigger, than what they have at KublaCon, and KublaCon is about 3 times the size, so a really big game library. And as part of it, games that you check out, not all of them, but a lot of the games that you check out are play to win, which is really, really cool and really, really fun for attendees. That people really like that. But the real winner is the Rage Bucks program. And I am sure it is a logistical nightmare to do it, but it is fantastic. It almost makes going to RageCon worth it just for this fun program. So what happens is, anytime you run a scheduled game or you play in a scheduled game, for every half hour you play, you get a Rage Buck. And every couple hours they have a whole little shelf, like these shelves I have right here, that have maybe 20 or 30 games on them. And you just put your Rage Bucks in for whichever game you want to win. And throughout the whole weekend, they're just giving away all these games. And it's a lot of fun. And I didn't win anything this year, and that's okay. There's only one thing I was trying to win. I really was trying to win Sagrada Legacy, because it's my wife's favorite game. And so I was putting tickets for that. But it was so much fun, and it had a brief moment of I would check the app and like, oh, I didn't win. But Original Don won a game of Starship Captains I'm going to talk about later, and he didn't put in a ton of tickets, and he just won. And it was a lot of fun. But the real thing about it that makes it so great from an attendee perspective is because they do this, people don't no-show to your games for the most part. At other cons when I run games, there's always 1 or 2 people that don't show up, but not here, because for whatever reason, that Rage Buck gets people committed. And also, people don't sign up for just everything because they want to sign up for something they're going to be able to do. It's a great program. And like I said, I'm sure it's a nightmare to run, but it is so fun. And all of this comes together into being, this is such a delightful, small convention. I'm glad that it was like 100 or 200 people bigger this year. I hope it's going to be even bigger next year. Every year, I have a wonderful, wonderful time there, and I hope they will have me, and I hope they're going to have me back next year as a special guest again, because that was great. I'll run even more games next year, y'all. But in any event, RageCon, one to check out, especially if you can get to Reno, and especially if you are interested in kind of smaller cons that are really focused on gaming, and not the bigger cons that are focused a lot more on kind of that are really focused on the vendor hall. But moving into my top 29 games of Train RageCon, I'm going to start at 29, go to 1, and just to be clear, for the most part, my ranking of these is not a judgment on the game itself, but rather I'm ranking them on how much fun did I have playing the game. So that does not mean that number 29 is the worst game on the list, does not mean that number 1 is the best game on the list. But I'll be darned if they weren't the least and most fun. And I'll try to give a little context for all of them, and most of them we will have some pictures of as we played. But coming at number 29, this was a train con game, and this was called Panda Spin. And I know I said that 29 does not mean it's the worst game, but this is the worst game. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. The mechanics are real clever. You have these cards, and as you play cards, you're flipping them to the other side. It's kind of a ladder climbing style game, like a scout style game, and you flip the cards by playing certain cards, and sometimes you discard them, sometimes you get them back, and the mechanics are really cool. But it just didn't really come together in a way that was satisfying for me. So number 29, Panda Spin. Number 28 was also a TrainCon game. That was Silicon Valley Startups. And this game was just, it was fine. Everything about it was fine. This kind of a drafting game where you're getting stock in these different startups, and at the end of the game, whoever's the most stock gets paid out, all these things. It's just not my kind of game, and thematically, I didn't really care about it. But Silicon Valley Startups was number 28. 27 was Silver and Gold Pyramids. Now, this is the new version of Silver and Gold, which is actually still not available in America yet, but Original Dawn happened to have a German edition and was able to get English rules. And this is like Core Silver and Gold, which I'm a big fan of, but you are following a path as you're playing through. Instead of just trying to fill the shapes, you have a path that you're playing through. And I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it. I don't know that the changes that it made to Silver and Gold made it feel more exciting. Which brings us to number 26, which is Wasteland Delivery Express. And this is one I've wanted to play for a long time. I am constantly looking for a pick up and deliver game that is my game, that I really, really love. And part of me thinks maybe I don't like pick up and deliver as much as I think I do. Because by everything that I have to say about the game, I would have very little bad to say about the game. Because I actually really enjoyed it. But it just didn't excite me, and I'm starting to think that I have to just accept that maybe pick up and deliver is not really my jam. Also, I should point out here that this was a game we played towards the very end of the con, and one thing I noticed as I was going through the list, that games that I played later in the last couple of days of the con, when the tiredness and the weariness really sets in, I tend to have less of a good time on those. So this was a game at the end, so it did suffer from that. 25 is a game that is all the rage called Bomb Busters. And Bomb Busters is an awesome game mechanically. However, it is a deduction game and is figuring out what other people have based off the clues they put down on the table, and I just suck at those games. And it's stressful to me because it's a cooperative game, and so the fact that I was bad made all of us bad. But it is a very cool game. That's Bomb Busters, number 25. Number 24 was another TrainCon game. That was Irish Gauge. And this was one that we played on the way back. So very, very end, when the exhaustion was high, high, high. And this is, well, it's a cube rail game, I guess. And you are building out your track. I guess it's not cube rails because you have little trains, but whatever. And you're making tracks all around Ireland and so on, and you're buying stock in the companies. And it's every bit the kind of game that's very, very dry, and I'm really glad that I played it. But didn't love it, but also on the way back, so we're happy to play it again, but didn't love it. Number 23 was actually the first game we played in Reno. That was Altiplano. And this is one I'd never played before. It's a bag builder, and I've been excited to try it for a long time, and it is a really clever game. I had a great time. I enjoyed it. We didn't quite get to finish because I think we had to leave the room or something. I don't know what happened, but we didn't get to finish, but it's a super, super clever game. I really enjoyed it and hope I get to play again. Number 22 was Wondrous Creatures, and this is a game, Bad Comment Games, same people that did Life of the Amazonia, which I love. And I like this game a lot too. And the reason it's down at number 22 is not because I didn't enjoy the game. I did enjoy the game overall. But I got to play with Steve and Skippy. And both of these chuckleheads were blasted when I played the game. And they just were a mess. They didn't really know what was going on. And Skippy wound up being an idiot savant over there and wound up winning the game. Had no idea what was going on. So Wondrous Creatures came in at number 22. 21 was just regular Silver and Gold. I always enjoy regular Silver and Gold. Just a quick game we played. We played with Grant Lyon. It's always fast, clean, fun. I always enjoy Silver and Gold. Number 20 on the list was a TrainCon game on the way back, and this is a game called Pixies. Now, two things cool about this game. One, it's a drafting game, and you're just putting things out in the 3x3 grid, but the main thing that sticks out is just how weird the pictures on the cards are. they're so weird. They're kind of creepy, they're kind of cool, and this is a light, fast draft cards. They're going to score different ways based on how you place them in your grid. Cool game, enjoyed it, would definitely play again. Number 19 was Emberleaf from City of Games, and this is one that I backed on Kickstarter, was very excited about, and this game has an amazingly cool action system of placing cards down into your grid or sliding them off, and cards activate either when you put them down, or some of them activate when they slide, and some of them activate when they fall off the edge of the board. Very, very clever, cool art, beautiful looking game. And the real knock that I have on this one was it was just a really long game. It just went really, really long, but it is very cool. I have it. I'm looking forward to playing a few more times and then getting the video out, as is one I backed on Kickstarter. Number 18 is a game called Revolve. And Revolve is the follow-up from the designer of Scout, at least according to Corey Thompson. He knows everything about it. I don't know anything about it. And if that's true, assuming this is the follow-up to Scout, my opinion of this is, and you're going to get mad at me, a lot of you, is someone took Scout and made it fun. Because I enjoyed this one. I do not enjoy Scout. I think Scout is all kinds of fine. This one was really cool. It's got a lot of the same types of things that you're doing. If you're taking cards, you're flipping cards back and forth. There's 2 different numbers on each side, and it is a ladder climbing style game. And really, it's what Scout should have been to start with. There, I said it. Come at me in the comments. Number 17 was another TrainCon game on the way out. This was a game called Trick Draw. This is one from Good Games Publishing. They last second gave me a copy of this back at Gen Con, and I just had a hard time getting it played. This is a game where you're trying to get to 10 points, and you're going to play a card pretty much every turn. You're going to draw a card every turn, and either you're going to play it face down, which means it's worth a point, or you're going to play it face up, and it's going to do what it says on the face of the card. And by itself, that doesn't sound very interesting, but a lot of the cards, it'll say flip a card, move a card, whatever. That means any card on the whole table. So you're playing your hand, and at the same time you're playing your hand to play other people's hands. And it becomes a little bit of a memory game of you have to think, okay, they had that really cool card that they just flipped over and it's now giving them points. But if I can flip that back over, they're going to lose points. And it also has a very cool kind of in-game kind of gunfight showdown thing that you do. A very cool game that I really want to play more. I was very, very impressed by Trick Draw. Number 16 was another TrainCon game we played on both ways. That is Castle Combo. Castle Combo is a really delightful game. Again, 3x3 grid. You draft stuff into the grid, and your scoring is based on kind of what's next to it all the way around. Like this card might score based on all the purple shields that are below you, or the red shields to the right or left of you. And very clever little game, a lot of fun. We really, really enjoyed it. That was 16, Castle Combo. Number 15 was the aforementioned Starship Captains. And this is the one that Original Dawn won on the first day, and on the very last day we decided to play it. And this was a really fun game. We played with Luke Laurie, designer of Andromeda's Edge, and he sat down to join us to play, and then he said, "Oh, I just have a story." And he started telling a story. We chatted for a little bit, and then it was an hour later, and we still hadn't even started, but we played through the game lightning fast. Really an enjoyable little game. It's not deep. Is it Star Trek? Kind of, sort of. Does it feel Star Trek? Not really, but it's definitely an enjoyable game. Kind of flying around, doing jobs, getting new crew members. A clever little game. Enjoyed it for the speed of the game. There's another one I'm actually hoping to play again. Number 14 was The Hobbit, There and Back Again, a drafting roll and write game. And this one's coming in actually at 14 because I only got to play the very first scenario in a quick demo. Bree Woodward from Z-Man and Office Dog was kind enough to, before the hall opened one morning, just let myself and Peter Vaughn play a game, and I really had a good time. It's very clever the way it works here. In the first one, we were trying to get all the dwarves into Bilbo's house, and it was fun. It was clever. And if that's all it was, it would be a nice, clever game, and I wouldn't ever talk about it again. But here's the thing, it's a book, and you play through the whole book, and you're playing through the entire story of The Hobbit. And as you go through, the mechanics change, things are different. Really an exciting little title. I'm looking forward to playing more of it sometime down the road. Number 13 was both a TrainCon and a RageCon game. I played with Original Dawn twice, called Exo World Survival. This is a crisis management game that I originally bought last year for TrainCon, because I thought this is a game that will fit on one of the tables at the train, and it does, fits perfectly. But this is a very fast, very simple to understand crisis management game where you're trying to make your colony self-sustaining. And to do that, you're going to be building new modules. And as you build new modules, they're going to change what you can do. So maybe you build a algae farm or something, and that's going to take energy. So your energy score is going to go down, but your food production is going to go up. And so you're building these things to send some things up, some things down in order to become a self-sustaining colony. But at the same time, things are happening every turn that are making things more difficult. Very simple crisis management game, but really enjoyed it. This is one of those games that nails the length, because if it was a longer game, it wouldn't be fun. If it was a shorter game, you'd feel frustrated, but it's a perfect length, and so we really enjoyed it. It's another one that actually I really want to get to the table more often. Number 12 was a game that was not on my radar at all, and that is Manatee Sanctuary from Warped Reality Games. And they are the same company that put up Potions of Azurland, and they were just there demoing it all weekend. And while one of those demos was going on, Original Don and I, we sat down with the designer, we played this game about having our own little manatee park. And it is so sweet. It's delightful. You got to get the manatees out there, and they're going to come. They're going to eat stuff. You got to have the food for them. If you don't have the food for them, they're going to swim away, and everyone's going to be mad at you. And it's a pattern matching and tile laying type game. And it has at the top of the game a fun drafting mechanic, which is this I cut, you choose mechanic. You're passing cards around, and it is delightful. Very, very cute. This is one that they had actually reached out to me to cover, and I just couldn't manage it. And I'm now very sad that I didn't. Really enjoyed Manatee Sanctuary. Number 11 is Flamecraft Duel from Cardboard Alchemy. They just keep this game just kind of sitting out at cons, and it's a very simple rule set. And people just come sit down, play the game. And so the last night, Original Don and I, we sat down, we played it, and I had played it before. And it is a delightful little game with one of the most beautiful productions you've ever seen. It's fun, it's easy, it's fast, and because it's fast, the quick puzzle that you're doing is really, really satisfying. And so really enjoyed Flamecraft Duels. I believe the late pledge for that just opened, so jump in on that if you like cute games there for 2 players. Number 10 is going from the very light and cute to the dark and heavy with Inferno from Red Mojo Games. This is a game that I talked about a couple times on various videos that is a very heavy Euro. That's not true. It's not feudum heavy, but this is as heavy a game as I enjoy. And really a fun, clever game. I'm terrible at it. I keep being terrible at it, but it's this really cool thing if you're getting souls across the river Styx and trying to get them down to the proper circle of the hells. And based on where they land, you might score points, and then it allows you to take an action up above Hades. And when you're doing things there, and you're sending more souls to hell, and it's so thematic. It's based off Dante's Inferno, and they just nail it. They just nail it. It's a beautiful production. Really, really like number 10, Inferno. Number 9 is from BD Games, Beautiful Disaster Games, Crisis at Steamfall. And this is a game I've talked about before, and I'm pretty sure it's on my unique games list of, it's just a strange game. It is bizarre. There's nothing like it. It's a kind of an action selection worker placement style game, but you're collecting resources, a little bit of contract fulfillment, and you're building stuff. It's a little bit of a tableau builder in this weird, wacky world. And Original Don and I, we played sitting in the bowling alley in the casino, played the story mode, where each player has a story that they're kind of working through, which gives them objectives they're trying to do. If you accomplish the objective, you get to unlock a new ability. And it's weird, it's wacky, and I really enjoy it. If you are looking for a game like nothing you've ever played, this is one of the games to check out. It's one that I really want to get into the rotation more often. Crisis of Steamfall, number 9. Number 8 is one I've talked about a lot lately. That is Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship. Pandemic meets Lord of the Rings. And it's great. I taught some new people, and we mixed in one, I think, new quest that I don't always use and a couple different characters. And we succeeded, and it's hard, it's challenging, but it's very simple to learn, so it's easy to teach, and really, really enjoy that. It comes at number 8. Number 7 is another one that got played twice. That is Thunder Road Vendetta, and I am the reigning champion of RageCon, I guess, because I won twice. I actually won one game by Sandworm. That's what I'm talking about. And this is pure chaos, dice chucking, mean, knock people off the road. Beautiful production from Restoration Games. Thunder Road Vendetta. Always a blast. Always a blast. There's so much stuff in there. You can keep playing and playing, and you're never going to feel like you're getting repetitive. Number 6 is Mouse, Cheese, Cat, Cucumber, which is, as everyone knows, one of my favorite games. A teeny tiny little box. The publisher was kind enough to send me a copy to give away to the winner, and I have to say it was so fun to see Aldo, who actually is one of the runners of Kubla Khan, just jumped in the game because I had a spot, and not only did he win, which is great, he won, he got a copy, but he was so excited about it. Like, I don't see him get excited about anything outside of like a case of White Claw. Dude was excited to play this game, and everyone else was having a really good time. And we played it twice, and it's just such a fun, clever, tiny game. I mean, y'all, this game costs $15. Fits in your back pocket. Just delightful. Really always have a great time with Mouse, Cheese, Cat, Cucumber, and this was no different. Coming into the top 5, number 5, we have Dwellings of Eldervale. Now, this was a really strange game. Usually scores are, 150, 180, 200. And I won with like 82 points. And now I never win. So the fact that everyone else was terrible and I was a little bit less terrible is really what made this thing happen. But Dwellings is always a delightful experience. It's kind of mean, but kind of puzzly, and it looks really good. It has cool sound bases that make noises, and you're chucking dice, and you're playing cards, and you're getting tableaus, and you're making buildings, and it's everything, but it all comes together in a really, really satisfying way. And even though I've played this game, I don't know how many times I've played, over 30, probably more than that, there's still things that happen I hadn't seen. There's some cards that came out that literally I had never seen before. So really satisfying. Dwellings of Eldervale, number 5. Number 4, I've been talking about a lot lately, and that is Ahoy from Leader Games. And this was one we played real late. Like, started at midnight and wound up getting some ill-advised nachos around midnight. Yeah, that was a bad idea. But the game was delightful. I really, really enjoy this game. It's dice placement, and every faction's so very different, and it's weird. It's so weird. Original Don was playing a turtle faction that had turtle catapults that were launching turtles everywhere. And I was playing a giant sea serpent, and it's great. It's really great because it's relatively fast and a very, very asymmetric game. Really into it. Looks great. Very cool game. Number 4 is Ahoy. Number 3 is one that often comes in the top 5, and that is Consumption / Food for Thought. Food for Thought is the new title of the game and the new printing from the new publisher. It had 2 printings prior on the name of Consumption, Food, and Choices. And this is a game of very dry-sounding worker placement Euro game about balancing your diet based on your food preferences. But let me tell you, this is a special, special game. I love everything about playing this game. It's just a delight. I didn't do very well this time. The new version is really, really nice. They've done some very cool things with it. I still have the original printing, but wonderful game. If you're looking for a Euro game that does something different, this is it. I get to play with the designer and Skippy and Original Don and Teresa, who does lots of board game apps, all these fun apps that you have, Dominion and Roll for the Galaxy. She's kind of behind those. Got to play with her as well. And just a really fun game. And even though I got trounced, still had a blast. Love that game. Coming to the top 2. Number 2 is one that's, again, regularly in my top 5 after cons. That is Red Dragon and Battle for Greyport. Played a scenario. I ran a scenario. So there's a couple people who had never played before. Played a scenario I'd never played before, a harder scenario, and we won. I made one rule mistake because I don't know how to read. It says you can't do this, and I read it as saying you can do this, which is on me really, because why would they say you can do this in the rules? That's kind of weird. But a great time. Dice chucking, deck building, cooperative. I love that I'm playing this deck builder where on your turn I'm playing to help you, but it has consequences on my turn. Just fantastic. I actually have a video that either has just come out recently or is about to come out of a full playthrough of it, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful game. If you like deck builders and co-ops, this is the one to get. Great character, fun art. I got it all blinged out. Just great. Which brings us to the #1 game of Rage and TrainCon, and that is from original Don himself, Backyard Chickens. This was the most fun I've had in a game. It was actually the designer of Potions of Azurland and Manatee Sanctuary. He was sitting the next table over. I was telling him about the game. He's like, that sounds like a lot of fun. I said, you should play. So I got to run this demo. I said, no, we're at the table right next door. Just pop over to me. I'll be on your team. And when you're over here, you'll take the turn. And dude was like crunching the numbers. He's like, oh, it's like 83% chance that if we do this, we'll succeed. I was like, all right, man, we're going to do it. And it's like we were subprime mortgaging our game, because every turn it was, if we get one bad pull in our hand, we're screwed. But it just never happened. Everything kept coming up sevens, and we ran away with the game. The designer of Potions of Azurland was actually excited. He actually got to take that copy with him, and it was just the best game of Backyard Chickens I've ever had. And that's not a backhanded compliment to Backyard Chickens. I enjoy Backyard Chickens, but it's my #1 game of the con. There was 29 games here, and several were played multiple times. And it's not even close. Not even close. It was so much fun. Fast, easy, charming, great time. But there you have it, folks. It's a longer video, but a full recap of all the games of RageCon and RageCon itself. Again, I highly, highly recommend checking it out if you're interested in a smaller size convention. And you know what? Pop out to Martinez before and join us for TrainCon. All right, there you have it, folks. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.